Oshkosh Media is government programming on GovTV, community programming on Life TV, and community radio on Oshkosh FM 101.9.
Welcome to the City Manager's Report, a look at city updates and a preview of the next Oshkosh Common Council meeting agenda.
Thanks for joining us for another edition of the City Manager's Report. I'm Andy Radig, and in a moment we'll be joined by City Manager Mark Roloff. As usual, in the first half of today's show, we'll have some municipal news updates, including items from city departments and things happening in Oshkosh. In the second half, we'll highlight items from the upcoming Tuesday, November 22nd, Oshkosh Common Council meeting agenda. And with that, we bring in our City Manager, Mark Roloff. Thank you for being here today.
Great to be here, Andy.
All right, well, we have some very good news for the traveling public around Oshkosh, and one of those items is that the Algoma Boulevard is scheduled to open on Friday, November 18th.
It's been a long time coming, but as I like to say, generally our street projects get done before deer hunting season starts, and this is another case of that. We've been watching this project from day one, and our new drone video can take care of a lot of this, but pretty recent idea of what it looks like. So when it opens up on November 18th, this is what you're going to see. We're very pleased with the final product, and there'll be a little bit of landscaping that'll still need to get done, but that can be done under traffic. And I think it's important to thank all the neighbors for their patience, because they've been putting up with this since back in April or May, so we certainly appreciate that, and that happens with all of our street projects, that people go through inconveniences. And there's some other streets that we did this year, Lincoln and
Rosalia
and that neighborhood. So they've put up with a lot too, but this one's a little more visible because it goes right through the heart of the university. University's been a wonderful partner to work with in terms of cooperating. So we're happy that the project's done, and we're always happy at this time of year when we see the project to get done.
Exactly. And it's important to point out also that High Avenue is returning to a one-way traffic pattern.
Right. That'll be the last thing that's done. After Algoma is fully opened, then we'll reopen High Avenue. So, we were talking earlier, we're worried about the freshmen at UW Oshkosh that have never experienced High Avenue being a one-way street, but that'll take some adjusting for some people. But for those of us who've been around a while, we know the drill. High Avenue is a one-way street, and we'll get that taken care of as well.
Back to how it was, exactly. Okay, and then also traffic-related, we have a bridge that's open now.
Finally, and and I've said this before, so I can't take credit for something that we're not directly part of. The DOT, the Wisconsin Department of Transportation, is responsible for the Oregon Street Bridge. So they got it opened up, and we appreciate it, and we're very happy about it, because as everyone knows, that's been opened. The bridge has been up for about 6 months now. It's been amazing, but again, thank everybody for their patience. But just about the time for the snow to fall and get icy on the bridge, now the bridge is open. So please be careful crossing it. But we're very pleased that the gearbox that was found to be broken and that forced the closure of the bridge has been found and replaced, and now it's up and operational. We're very pleased about that.
Yeah, they were able to install the new gearbox, and it was tested, and no issues were found with any of those components. So that's very good news. And so at least now we can get back to our normal patterns of traffic and go forward.
Yeah, and it demonstrates the importance of doing bridge inspections, because it was a bridge inspector, and I said, a bridge inspector is like a parent who can understand and know their baby's cry. This engineer heard something that just didn't seem right, and instead of just kind of checking it off his list, he went and dug deeper and found it, which I think from a safety standpoint was very good. Even though 6 months is a long time to wait, and I think even for the DOT, I don't think they were satisfied with that. But parts availability being what they are, and this being a very unique part, they got it as quickly as they could and got it back in operation. So we're happy it's open for the winter, but we'll be even happier next spring when it just opens and closes, and the thing we've taken for granted is now going to be on a regular basis.
Back to normal.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, that's good news. Well, the next topic is something that, as I was researching this, I thought this was very interesting, and I learned a few things. So, Wisconsin Public Service has identified some streetlight poles that need replacement. And I guess if you can walk us through the ins and outs of not only the fact that some of these need replacement, but the fact that the city doesn't actually own these street poles.
Yeah, the city doesn't own all the street lights in the city. There's a group that we own, and over time we acquire more, but there are still a good number of street light poles that are owned by Wisconsin Public Service, or WPS. And there's about 70 concrete poles that are really getting to the end of their useful life. And the WPS owns them and would like to replace them. But on top of those 70, which are more immediate, we also have another 450 plus or minus black fiberglass poles. And so this photograph we have there, we're showing you what the fiberglass poles look like. And quite honestly, they're very nice. They're very nice looking. Contrast that with the one across the street there on Jackson Street in this photo is a sample of our the wooden street light poles. Those are much less costly, but when WPS puts them in, they will put in the fiberglass pole, and they're happy to do it, but they're also happy to do it at a certain price. And that price is about $2,700 per pole. Now that doesn't seem like a lot when you're just comparing $2,700. But right now, if they replace a wood pole, we don't pay any capital cost up front for a new wooden pole, but $2,700 is quite a bit. And when you do the math that, even with those 70 poles that are concrete that I didn't show in the photograph, because those are going away, they won't be coming back. So WPS will replace them with the fiberglass poles, but those 70 poles will cost us somewhere in the neighborhood of $180,000. And then do the math as we grow throughout the city, and the fact that we have 450 of those fiberglass poles, they're going to need to get eventually replaced. So, we're talking, over $1 million in potential costs versus the cost of simply getting very effective, but not as visually pleasing, the wooden light poles. And when I first got here in 2008, we were just getting over cutting back on the number of street lights we had in the city. And to this day, I still get calls from people complaining about that. So we're still living with the aftermath of getting rid of poles, or lighting poles. And so now if we're looking at extra cost, but we also have a need for other lights, it's really going to be a balancing act of values, because you've got, from a public safety standpoint, more lighting's better. You talk to Chief Smith with the police department, he'll tell you he would prefer to see more lights. There's also the equity issue, where you have people who have some decorative light poles that are around the city. When they have to get replaced, how do they get replaced? Who pays for them? Typically the city replaces those street light poles at the city's cost. So if we're spending all this money on decorative poles in a certain area of town, and generally those are admittedly more affluent neighborhoods, versus getting more lights in a neighborhood that typically don't cost us any more for the capital cost, but we have to pay a lease rate to WPS, getting more lights in other areas that may need more lights. And then of course the cost. So you've got equity issues, financial issues, quality of life issues, decorative issues. All those factors are coming into play. The reason I bring this up is I see this becoming an evolving issue, and I think you're going to see a lot of folks talking about it, and I'm going to be talking to council about it on Tuesday night just to get them prepared. We're going to be scheduling a workshop probably after the first of the year, but I would say if I was doing a forecast of an issue that's going to be coming up in 2023, these light poles are going to be one of them, Andy.
Okay, it sounds like it. We need to do something about this because these poles are experiencing damage and decay. But just exactly how to develop that policy is something that council will be looking at.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, stay tuned for these issues.
Okay. All right. Well, over at the Oshkosh Public Library, we wanted to highlight some of the activities that they have happening, and they're doing a lot actually to help job seekers.
They really are, and with the cooperation of the Wisconsin Department of Workforce Development and volunteers from human resource professionals throughout the area. It's called the Society for Human Resource Management. They help provide assistance with resumes, cover letters, interview skills, career counseling, and so much more. And when you think about it, nowadays you don't apply for jobs face-to-face with turning in an application. Most of this happens online, even for the lowest level to the highest level jobs. And not everybody has access to these types of resources, and specifically filling out a form on a computer at home. That's not for that. Not everybody has that. So this service, all you got to do is call the library at 920-236-5205. Wednesdays from 1 to 4, they will set you up with an appointment and give you help with all these things. So it's a great service that our library provides to the public, and it's much needed for people who need those resources to apply for jobs and may not have those resources at their own house.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And the library has a lot of different types of services available, so it's good to check out their information and learn more about what the Oshkosh Public Library all has to offer. Okay, Mark, we're also getting into that time of year where we're in the holiday season, and the Oshkosh Fire Department for a number of years now has done a food and toy drive, and they've set their dates for this year.
They sure have, and this is a wonderful community service. Our firefighters are doing this on their own time, and they're walking the streets in designated routes. They start at one of our stations and then walk a handful of streets in that neighborhood. So they start with the fire truck with Santa on it. The old-fashioned fire truck, that's not in our fleet anymore, folks. And then volunteers from the fire department, their families. They even drag me out there every once in a while, and I'll be out on one of them as well. But what they do is they take donations of non-perishable food items, new and unwrapped gifts, wrapping paper, tape, and cash donations. And one of the things they do with the cash, some of the cash donations is they have a scholarship fund to fund 2 graduating Oshkosh high school seniors that are enrolled in a police or fire program. So that's really cool. But you can donate on any of these nights you'll hear the sirens through the neighborhood, but you can also stop at any of the 6 Oshkosh fire stations between now and December 12th. So if you're out doing a little holiday shopping and you want to grab an extra toy for someone less fortunate, and our fire department will work with the Salvation Army to make sure that people of need and their kids can have a Merry Christmas as well. And so we're real happy to be part of that.
Yeah, Salvation Army will be also distributing those gifts through their distribution program, and so this is really a great thing for the community. And residents can learn more about the exact routes and the maps on the Oshkosh Fire Department Food and Toy Drive Facebook page, and also they have a Twitter account and Instagram page, so you can find out all the details about exactly where they're going to be, but they're coming up very soon, and look forward to seeing them in your neighborhood. Okay, another holiday-related item is a little further east in town. It's the Oshkosh Celebration of Lights over at Menominee Park, and that's opening up on the day after Thanksgiving, November 25th.
An incredible group of community volunteers. Leon Thompson leads that group and does his little interpretation of a certain holiday person to attract the kids. But this is the 21st annual Celebration of Lights. And this is a real photo that we have starting Friday, November 25th through Saturday, December, I think 30?
I believe the 31st.
31st, so through New Year's Eve. So these are just some footage of previous celebration of lights. But some of the activities and sites you're going to see is a 100-foot tall tree, more than 120 trees that are filled with lights, lots of animated displays, as you can see, visits with Santa, a little gift shop for celebration of lights, and there's actually its own entrance this year. So if you're just there to get a gift, you can do that as well. There's going to be a few nights that are sponsored by local businesses that are going to be free community nights. Typically, those are Tuesday nights. That coincides with council meetings. I just can't understand that, Andy, but we get a lot of people out there on a Tuesday night. And there's carriage rides they're going to be offering this year, and a whole bunch more. And of course, Oshkosh Media is a partner with this as well.
Yeah, that's right. Oshkosh FM 101.9 will be helping to provide some holiday music for the attendees. There'll be some signs to remind you of the frequency 101.9 and tune in your car as you drive through the light show and enjoy some good music. There's more information about all of this at oshkoshcol.org with all those community nights and all the details about some special nights that they have. So that's all coming up. Okay, and then also we have the Oshkosh Holiday Parade presented by Oshkosh Defense. That's coming up on Thursday, December 1st.
A little later in the season this year because of a certain football game that's going on tonight. Otherwise, it would have been here the evening we're taping the show. But
that's right.
Enjoy music. It's going to start in Opera House Square at 5 p.m. With a tree lighting ceremony at 6 p.m. and then the parade at 6:15. It's going to start at the intersection of North Main and CP and heads north until we get to Irving. So about a mile long. And this year's parade theme is Welcome to the North Pole. Hopefully that isn't indicative of the weather we're going to be experiencing that night, but you never know. And again, Oshkosh Media is part of this as well.
Exactly. This parade will be shown on Oshkosh Media Live TV, and schedules and a link to the YouTube video will be posted on oshkoshmedia.org. Join yours truly along with Jane Wells for the program, and looking forward to co-hosting with Jane this year. So that's coming up very soon. All right, and then a couple of reminders from the sanitation division. They're continuing the loose leaf collection, but that's wrapping up very soon.
Yeah, this is the last week of that, although we will have a truck or two out still making rounds of leaf pickup over the next week. With the recent snow we've had, it makes it a little more challenging for all of us, but we also, if you recognize those trucks, they have to get converted to snowplow trucks, and we can't be picking up leaves forever, so please understand that that's why we got to get that service ending for the season. But meanwhile, we'll still be doing the brush pickup the week of December 5th through 9th. You can also place brown bags for curbside pickup on your regular garbage pickup day during that time as well. And so we also have to let people know that the winter hours for the yard waste drop-off are going to kick into place on December 1, and they'll continue through March 31. So about 4 months. That means winter hours are only from 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. Monday through Friday. No weekend or holiday services during the winter schedule.
Okay, exactly. And we also wanted to remind folks that there are some Thanksgiving holiday hours coming around. There's no garbage or recycling pickup on Thanksgiving Day. That's November 24th, but pickup moves back one day.
Yep, and Friday collections will be on Saturday. And then also on Thanksgiving Day, the Yard Waste Drop-Off Center, Go Transit, the Public Library, and City Hall are all going to be closed on the 24th, but we are open for service on Friday, November 25th. So just be aware of that, and thanks for everybody for understanding, and happy Thanksgiving and happy holidays to everybody there.
Okay, very good. And thanks for those updates. And it's time for us to take a short break. Stay with us for some highlights from the next Common Council meeting agenda. We'll be right back.
Hi, I'm firefighter paramedic Eric Shea with the Oshkosh Fire Department, here to tell you about this year's Local 316's Oshkosh Fire Department Food and Toy Drive. 5 routes will take place through Oshkosh neighborhoods for door-to-door collection of non-perishable food items, new and unwrapped gifts, wrapping paper, tape, and cash donations. The routes will take place on 5 different nights, beginning at 5 p.m. on Tuesday, November 29th, with the last collection day being Tuesday, December 13th. Just look for the antique fire engine with Santa riding on the front. All donations will be given to the Salvation Army for distribution. Monetary donations may also be given for a scholarship fund for 2 graduating Oshkosh seniors enrolled in a police or fire science program. For details on the routes or how you can donate anytime to the program, follow Oshkosh Fire Department Food and Toy Drive on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Help us make someone's holiday a little brighter this year.
And welcome back to the City Manager's Report. I'm Andy Radig along with City Manager Mark Roloff. Let's turn our attention to the agenda items from the upcoming Tuesday, November 22nd Oshkosh Common Council meeting. So Mark, at the beginning of the meeting, there's a proclamation for Small Business Saturday.
This is the Saturday after Thanksgiving, and we like to toss a little love to all the local businesses who stayed open and provide services to the public. So shop downtown for the holidays. That's the theme that our Business Improvement District's putting out. And of course, everybody's familiar with Black Friday, but now Small Business Saturday is the other one we'd like to point out. And hopefully people will be able to schedule a little bit of our local businesses into their holiday shopping plans.
And remind people to visit downtown. Okay. And then we have the consent agenda, and one of those items relates to professional services agreement regarding some of the former quarries that were in Oshkosh.
Yeah, a lot of people don't realize that many of the old quarries, primarily in the south side of town, those ended up becoming privately owned landfills. What a lot of people don't understand is once those landfills close, generally the city or any city is responsible for maintaining those from a monitoring and maintenance standpoint. So these are a few locations of 3 of them very close to Quarry Park and Jacob Shapiro School. And so it costs us over $130,000 every year to do the monitoring of that. And that's a little known budget item in our sanitation division. Even though we never operated these as landfills, we're responsible for maintaining them for long term for the public safety. But it's just something we like to point out to people because not everybody's aware of that.
Right, a little known fact for sure. Okay, and then we also have an item, we're approving fees for snow and ice removal, and I understand that there's been a little bit of a jump in these fees this year.
You're being nice when you say a little jump. This is a pretty sizable increase, and I want to encourage everybody, clean up your own sidewalk. We don't go actively looking, but somebody, if they report it, then we have to do something about it. But sidewalks need to be cleared within 24 hours after snowfall is stopped. So if you end up we get called, we go out there and we send a contractor out there, the cost is going up from $99 to $164. So please be aware of that. So please try to remove the snow, and just also remember to cover your fire hydrants and don't throw snow in the street. Those are little tips that we give at the beginning of the season, and we'll be talking about it again, but please get your sidewalks clean so we don't have to do it for you.
Just a good reminder there, yeah. Okay, and then also under consent, we have approval of a general development plan, and this is relating to a new hotel that's kind of in that area over by Oshkosh Avenue.
Yeah, Town Place Suites was recently opened, and I think there's a lot of interest and activity out there on Oshkosh Avenue, so a true hotel, which is by Hilton, is going to be locating there. They just had their general development plan and specific plan approved for this site adjacent to where the current Town Place Suites. So we're going to see another hotel going up there. It'll be great to add that to our inventory of hotel rooms here in the city of Oshkosh. So we're excited about that.
Yeah, it looks like a very nice building. Yeah. Okay, and then we're jumping ahead to new resolutions, and we have the approval of a general development plan for the new hospital in the downtown area.
Yeah, this was announced a few weeks ago by Theta Care. They're introducing a concept known as a micro hospital, and they're going to locate it right there at the corner of 6th and Oregon. And we did cover that a while back, and we're excited that they're taking the first concept hospital. They're doing one in Fond du Lac and one here. And here's the site right on this southwest corner of the Oregon Street Bridge. And this is a wonderful addition. This is an old contaminated site, so capping it with a parking lot is actually a very good thing. And it's going to provide a service in the downtown area that has not been here since Mercy Hospital moved from the east side over to the west side many years ago. So there's just a few ideas of what's going on there and what to expect in the near future.
Mm-hmm. Okay, very good. And then also under new resolutions, we have a approval of a pay schedule, pay plan for non-represented employees for the city of Oshkosh.
I think everybody understands that right now finding good employees is very difficult. So we haven't done a pay plan review in over 10 years now, so this was long overdue. But we're developing and recommending a pay plan that keeps us competitive with the job market, both the public and the private sector. And we've surveyed all of our positions that are non-represented, non-union type of positions. And this is all about recruiting and retaining employees. And we need to have competitive wages that are based on the market. So we've surveyed the market. We know what we need to do to stay competitive. And the recommendations we're making, I think, will help achieve that.
Okay, very good. And then a little bit later in the agenda, we also have a review of beer garden ordinances and processes. And so this is some discussion about maybe closing some loopholes or inconsistencies.
Yeah, one of the things we discovered is that we tried to open up some beer garden concepts for some of the local taverns establishments. It started during COVID, but as we've gone through this, we've discovered that there's some loopholes there, that some people were going to one area to get approval for these and other people going to another area. And we need to make sure that loophole's closed to be fair and consistent to everybody. So we're going to make it a little clearer and we're going to have a review of that with the council. But we're introducing this to council right now, but we're also needing to reach out to the taverns, the Tavern League, and those folks, as well as our neighborhoods, because outdoor music and things like that are part of this, and we want to make sure that we're minimizing the impact on our neighborhoods as well. So this is something that other communities have successfully done. We haven't really looked at it in quite a long time, and I think it's overdue. And this was staff initiated, but it was through our process that we discovered these loopholes, and it's all about making sure that we're being fair and consistent in how we do that. And I think it'll clean it up. It'll make it a lot more understandable when we finally get it all done.
Sure, I would think that there are different types of purposes for usage of these permits and things, and it would just clean it up.
Yeah, and that's the whole idea.
Okay. All right. And then the final item that we have is that we're talking about a review of fees for 2023. And are there a lot of changes?
Well, not a lot. And quite honestly, because of staffing issues, we've had a difficult time taking a look at all the fees. So we had to prioritize some of them. I talked about the snow fee earlier, and that was one that, because of the cost, we did have to update that one. At this point, I think the only ones we're going to be looking at reviewing for consideration by the council will be our utility rates. And the council's actually held off on approving our 2023 utility budgets until we get some of those squared away. But aside from our water, sanitary sewer, and storm sewer fees, I don't think we're going to be making any changes to our fee schedule for the upcoming year. That includes special events and other things of that nature. But I think we can take a year off and not fall too far behind. And I think it's just a good courtesy to the public so that we don't have to revisit fees every year in this case, because I don't think we necessarily need to.
Okay, that's good news.
Yeah, I'm sure. Anytime we're not increasing fees, I'm sure people are going to be happy.
That's always a good thing.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Mark, I think that's about all the time that we have for today. Thank you so much for your insights.
It's always a pleasure, Andy.
Okay, very good. And thank you for joining us today. Again, that Oshkosh Common Council meeting is coming up at 6 p.m. this Tuesday, November 22nd at City Hall, which is located at 215 Church Avenue. And you can watch it live, as usual, on GovTV, which is Spectrum Channel 10, UVerse Channel 99, and streaming on YouTube and OshkoshMedia.org. Or you can listen to it on the radio, Oshkosh FM 101.9, which is also online, and on the TuneIn Radio app, for phones and tablets. You can also use your favorite streaming device, including Roku, Amazon Fire TV, and Apple TV. Just search for the Oshkosh Media app and you can watch it right there. And you can always visit our YouTube channel for government meeting archives and the full library of Oshkosh Media programming. So join us again in 3 weeks for another City Managers Report. Thanks for watching.